Hi, Sayaka. I learned online that the Japanese parallel for the Hebraic concept of zivug, which is written here in Hebrew, zivug, that the Japanese parallel for zivug is, hold on, I gotta check again. The parallel in Japanese is unmei no hito, which is here. I put on this hat. So there you go. Zivug there, unmei no hito there. Okay. Now I'm making this note because I was seeing something on Japanese television this morning about the abuse of women by men and the need for divorce. Okay, at times, and the problems some women have had with their religion not supporting them in their desire to divorce. I didn't watch most of it, but I did see a woman crying about the physical abuse she'd endured from her husband. So I want to say that America's Man of the Year physically abused my mother. Okay, it was deeply upsetting to me. Okay, now I want to quickly say I have never hit a woman ever. That means my wife, I've never hit her. I wouldn't think of it. Okay? And I haven't been in a fist fight since I was 12 years old. Okay? So, in addition, I have never been unfaithful to my wife nor even thought of it. Being unfaithful to my wife is out of the question for me. It wouldn't have occurred to me. Now, why is it that in my old age here, you see unmei no hito and zivug? Well, my wife and I met when I was 40 and she was 35, okay? We both had wrecked lives, okay? I'd been falsely accused and nearly murdered. And I was trying to salvage a life for myself. My wife, she was doing the same. She had a really rough life growing up in Korea, and she'd come to the United States looking for some kind of salvation here. So we met and we started to go together. Now, after a year of going together, we married, but we each admitted to each other from the start I was not the kind of man she really wanted, and she was not really the kind of woman I wanted, but we needed each other. Okay, so I've tried to express these ideas in other kinds of recordings like this one, and I've said there are various levels to love. Okay, now this concept of unmei no hito, which in Hebrew is expressed as zivug, this is the highest order of love between a man and a woman. Okay, and my wife and I admitted to each other from the start that that was not our relationship. Okay, now that doesn't mean we don't love each other. We do, but not that way. Okay. Okay, does that sound cruel? No, it's not cruel at all. I would never betray my wife nor ever leave her. And she would never do that for me. So what's going on with me and this person I've been calling Bishuasi? Well, this and this Bishuasi is my zivug as far as I can tell, my unmei no hito. Now, she came along about 3.5 years ago. Now, in about 5 days, today's the 10th, so wait a minute. Yeah, on the 14th, 4 days, I'll have been aware that Bishuasi is alive on this planet and of interest to me. I've been in that relationship, whatever you might call that, for the length of time that the United States was involved with Japan during World War II in the war with Japan. That lasted from December 7th, 1941 to August 14th, 1945. 3 years, 8 months, and a week. So in 4 days, I will have been involved, however you might call that involvement, with this person called Bishuasi for that length of time. And I have not yet met her. So I've stayed absolutely faithful to her all this time. I'm not thinking about anybody else ever. Okay? And my wife, let me just say that as far as my wife goes in all of this, okay, you think of my wife as my parents. I'm a young man wanting to marry, and I have my parents. And in America, you do not introduce your girlfriend to your parents and bring her home and show her around to your family until you're ready to marry her. That's the way I was raised, okay? So if my wife is my parents in this thing, I'm not going to be talking about Bishuasi with her until I'm sure about Bishuasi, and I haven't even met Bishuasi yet. So no, my wife and I are not having deep discussions about Bishuasi. We're simply not. But she sees all the YouTube videos I've been making, maybe 1,000 videos over the past 3.5 years. She's seeing them. She's not complaining. Now, why isn't she complaining? Well, number of reasons. Okay, my wife wanted more children. Okay, and we met when we were older, and when we did marry, I was unemployed. I had no money, no insurance, no anything. Plus, I was stigmatized beyond belief. We were lucky to have survived. Okay, so by the time we got insurance, she was almost passing out of the age when she was able to have babies at all. And she had a baby right in the nick of time. She had one. We both wish we could have had more, but we were too old. Okay? So, my wife is not opposed to me being in a relationship with a true love where we're going to have more babies. Now, I don't know what Bishuasi's age is. She may be past childbearing years. I have no idea. But I got to meet her first, right? Now, this recording is for you, Bishuasi, and I'm also aware that others may be watching the video, people important to you. So I'm communicating to you information you might find useful to communicate people around you who are maybe questioning this whole thing. So I'm trying to explain myself as well as I can. So my wife wanted more children, and so did I. Now, there was a feature story on Japanese television about a Japanese woman in China who I guess got stuck over in China and wasn't able to get back to Japan. And a Chinese man who was already married her because he wanted more children. He brought her into his family, and he essentially had 2 wives, and he had children by this Japanese woman. And this was all okay. I happened to see that story. So, in addition, my wife's own father had 2 wives, for all intents and purposes, right? He was married to my wife's mother, but he also had another woman that he was virtually married to. Maybe it wasn't a legal marriage, but it was the same thing, right? And he moved in between either household. He spent time over this household, the other household, and he had a child by this other woman. Okay? So her own father essentially had 2 wives. Okay, so this is not a foreign idea from her. For her, she's from Korea where this happened. Okay? Now, I gotta say, I never, ever thought that I would have 2 wives. I must say, I never It was not a goal of mine, not something I ever thought about. Ever, okay? However, the life I've had is also a tragedy but beyond my worst nightmares. I've been living in a life so tragic that I call it a bad fairy tale. I said, this is a fairy tale so ugly that and scary that you wouldn't even want to watch it. You know, it's so far there's no happy ending. So, you know, this is a fairy tale you don't even want to read. It's so ugly and scary. That's been my life. So along comes Bishuasi, and she calls out to me. As far as I can see, I'm amazed. I'm saying, "What is this? You are trying to communicate with me." Hold on, and it took me a long time to decide. Wait a minute. I think she's really trying to communicate with me. I can't believe this. And I want anyone watching beyond you, Bishuasi, to realize the courage it took me to accept that this might be true, because I was severely punished in 1987 and 88. I was brought before a court, and all that went into that. Grabbed by police, handcuffed, treated roughly, and treated as if I was a disgusting worm on the earth by these police, where they're roughing me around to take me down to be booked and everything for harassing this person. I was asking for help. That's why I was trying to befriend this journalist. I thought I'd worked with journalists and so on. These tremendously unjust, farcical things had happened to me, and I needed somebody. I wanted to get married and so on. I said, let me try to marry somebody who can help me, who has some influence in the world. A journalist would be great. Well, it also happens that I just saw this woman. I thought, well, she's beautiful too, okay? Look, it wasn't all rational like this. I was in this horrific life, far worse than it is now, and I saw this beautiful woman on TV one night. She was a journalist, and immediately I was captivated by her, and I thought, let me try to make friends with her. And as I've said in other videos, I'm going to tell her, hey, I've been determined by law to be a certified paranoid schizophrenic, and I don't agree. Would you like to be friends? Try to imagine. I'm laughing in the face of absolute tragedy. You could be weeping right now with the kind of things I'm talking about, but probably I'm alive because I'm able to laugh this way. I don't know why I do laugh. I do kind of know, but I don't want to say it. So, I was asking this woman for help, but I couldn't ask her for help really. Because as soon as I did, I'd have been shut out. I couldn't get help anywhere. I couldn't get employed. I couldn't get help. I couldn't get anything. I was getting massacred. This was my attempt to get out of the massacre, and I got more massacre. And set back another 30 years till now. Well, how long has it been since 1988 till now? 38 years. 38 years later, I'm again trying to climb out of the pit that I've been thrown down into and left for dead. I've been a ghost for 38 years. So once again, I'm trying to climb out, but I'm not trying to climb out somehow to use this person called Bishuasi. I'm climbing out to her call. She called to me and said, hey, I like you. I said, oh, you like me? Okay, here I come. Okay. Now, if you have any common sense, do I need to say more here? Okay, so my wife is not, look, my wife and they say in Western culture, which is pretty much a Christian thing, right? That when you marry, you become one with your wife. You're one. Okay, well, that's true. By now, me and my wife are like one person. So, Bishuasi says she likes me. She also has to like my wife, because me and my wife are one person. Okay, so somehow if I can get to her, we're going to bring her into our marriage. Okay? Or I'm going to do this. Or the Lord is going to do it. Okay? I'm not divorcing my wife, and I don't think Bishuasi would want me to. So, there you go. Now, this is a special circumstance here completely, okay? My wife is a virtually helpless person. She's profoundly deaf and she can't talk. She's also from a foreign land. English is not the native language of deaf people to begin with. And she comes from Korea, where sign language is a different sign language from American Sign Language. So, my wife is a virtually helpless person, and so am I. I've been considered to be full out crazy. There's nothing crazier than a schizophrenic among those diseases. And a paranoid schizophrenic, well, you could be a catatonic, right? Somebody just can't even move or say anything. Yeah, there's worse. But among the generally known mental diseases, schizophrenia is about the worst, okay? You tell somebody you're schizophrenic and they're going to be running for the exits. Tell them you're certified, you can forget about having anything to do with them. They're going to keep their kids away from you, and they're going to keep everyone who they love away from you, and they're going to keep away from you while they're smiling, say, yeah, have a nice day. As soon as you turn a corner or they turn a corner, whoop, they're gone forever, okay? So I've been in solitary confinement for over 40 years by now, okay, with this kind of thing. So a woman like Bishuasi is telling me in ways that I can hardly believe that she likes me. I'm saying, I'm an old man, and suddenly this gorgeous woman who's highly intelligent, I'm saying she's genius level of intelligence. She's accomplished. She's about as high up in the work world as you can get. And I'm saying, you like me? Yeah, I'm going to pass that up. So, okay, almost as much time as elapsed for the United States in its war with Japan, 3 years, 8 months, and a week, will be up in 4 days. And I have not met Bishuasi, and I'm holding on. Okay, so once again, I have never hit a woman, and I've never hit my wife, of course. Ever. I'm not abusive. And I've never been unfaithful to my wife or even thought of it. Okay? And this is the kind of person I am. I'm a very religious person. I converted to Judaism how? After about 40 years of deliberating over it, studying and deliberating over it. 40 years. Beginning with trips to the Library of Congress after work every day when I was in my young 20s to research Judaism every single day. Getting everything I could to read about it, and I started studying. I taught myself Hebrew by buying a Hebrew grammar, and I studied Hebrew on my own, and I learned Hebrew that way. And so I'm supposed to be full out crazy, and this is a lie about me. So I am trying here to give you some information, Bishuasi, to make you feel more secure in your dealings with folks around you who maybe have questions that I hope I've just answered. I'm looking forward to meeting you, Bishuasi. I really am. Bye for now.